B Moore's 92Q, home of the AM Clique, is Kels.
Shay Parker, of course.
Pork chop, you already know.
And listen, we got a very special guest in the studio.
Very, very special.
The Emmy-nominated, the first black and youngest Cinderella on Broadway.
Woo!
That girl, Keke Palmer, is here.
Yay!
Hey. Y'all already getting me into the accents, you.
Indeed.
You sound like you from Baltimore a little bit.
I try to do a little something.
You could pass. You could
Shout out to
pass.
Kashawn.
Yeah.
And we didn't even say singer, actor, director.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
keep
producer,
going.
all of the things. How are you feeling right now?
What?
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good to be in the city. I'm excited to be doing Broccoli City.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of good stuff going down. Excited to be doing stuff with the music again, for sure.
Yeah.
Is this going to be your first time at Broccoli City?
It is. First
Okay.
time. Yeah, and first time kind of performing in a long time. You know what I mean? I
Ooh.
don't really do a lot of live performances, especially with a lot of the other work that I do.
Uh-huh.
But definitely with this Big Boss album, I'm excited to get back out there again. So this is like my first of many performances to come.
Are you nervous with this being the first one? It's a festival vibe.
I would say like nervous in a way of like excited. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think that's kind of always how I am. Since I was really young and I started performing, my nerves are not real nerves. It's like nerves that push me into overdrive.
Yeah.
So I feel very much so ready to just get out there and do my thing and feel the people. You know what I mean?
Well, you already doing your thing, honey,
Thank
okay?
you.
And now while you've been here, of course, you had the event at the Howard Theater in D.C., Key TV, Broccoli City, and I wasn't able to make it, but you didn't perform there, right? Or did you sing?
I didn't perform.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a conversation with your girl, Dawn.
Yes.
So that was a
My
lot of fun. The theater the energy was honestly crazy. Like I did another screening in LA. We did a screening in Atlanta and it was great. But the screening at Howard Theater, it was on another level. And we had a good conversation. And like you said, I got to talk a lot about Key TV Network, my new network that you can subscribe to on YouTube. And that was good too, because that's the audience that I want to know about Key TV, because those are the kids I want to help support. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the youth. It's all about our generation kind of being more in the power position when it comes to like creating online and stuff. Yeah.
I
I want
love
to give
that.
you a flowers even giving that platform for other creators with Key TV.
Yeah.
That's
So much.
definitely big. I know there's a strike going on right now. How does that affect, the whole Key TV situation?
So Key TV is not a part of it because it is digital, right?
Okay.
So I think the big thing with the strikes is trying to get the studio to really show respect and give people what they deserve as far as writers, definitely writers, and then also actors. There's a lot of different things changing with the industry as far as streaming and then AI. And so with the whole industry changing, contracts have to change. And I think the writers are obviously standing for what they want and the actors
they
are standing.
should.
Yeah, as they should. And this really, I think Fran Dresser, who's the president of SAG-AFTRA, was just speaking on the fact, or not, she wasn't speaking, but people on Twitter were speaking to the fact that this also sets precedent for other industries, right? With everything changing with the AI and just different technologies. So, if the writers and actors come out on the better end of this, which, I think we all hope, we want things to be fair, then also it shows everybody else how we kind of got to work with these major corporations when it comes to what we want to demand as things change.
Well, listen, they say you don't get a lot by just asking nicely.
You can't, man, okay?
And, this is the first time in 60 years that the writers and actors have gotten together, for a strike like this. And the TV studios, I think, have been responding pretty harshly and just like, oh, well, we're going to wait it out so y'all can't pay y'all bills.
And that's
what are
the
your thoughts
thing,
on that?
man.
Is that the general sentiment just typically across the board in Hollywood? Like
Well, I
this
think that's
sort
how
of
it is.
tension?
I think that's how it is with corporations. I think
Yeah.
corporations know that people need jobs and they hold all their money that they can. You know what I mean? I think that's just like kind of the system that we are in across the board. That's why I say it's like it's happening in my industry right now, but it's happening in all industries.
Capitalism, baby.
Capitalism. It's like what you're always constantly fighting against is being a little guy. And the more that we stand together, the better it is. But honestly, a lot of people some people are going to suffer more than others, and that's the part about it that really is unfair.
Yeah. Are any of your, colleagues in the industry, I'm sure you have friends who are writers, actors. What are their feelings right now? Are they scared?
Yeah.
Are they nervous? I
Well,
would
then
be
a lot of
terrified right now.
A lot of them are terrified, and I think for me that's the big thing where I always speak to when it comes to digital is like, building a bridge between your, taking out the bridge from you and advertisers is where you want to be. So you don't have to only solely depend on the studios, right? You want to be able, that's what Key TV is all about. It's about making creators build a more intimate and close relationship to brand sponsors themselves, because that's what you go to a studio for. A studio is a middleman. They want advertisers, and they use talent and entertainers to help bridge that gap and get those eyes. Okay, we're going to give you eyes. This is our demographic. Give us money, brands.
Okay.
But with digital and social media, you don't need that. You know, Drewski can get an immediate deal straight up with Coke if he wants, because he has a following. You've seen it. We've seen it. So I think for me, and what I would hope for other creators to start to understand is that, you know, do your own stuff, produce your own content, collaborate, whether it's with me and Key TV or the person that's doing dope stuff in your city as an influencer. Yeah. You got to start doing stuff that doesn't solely have you depend on the studio, so that when you do work with the studio, when you do decide to do that work, that you can be in a bit of a more of a power position,
right?
And not so much with your what you
control it.
Yeah, you control it more. So it's a lot of things that go into it, and again, the industry's changing, but I think the creators have to start knowing that they're not, you know, we're not as destitute as we think we are, but we got to go in another direction in order to be in the power position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How has motherhood been for you? Because it's looking good.
Thank you so much. Motherhood,
the energy and everything.
I think motherhood is really. It was so, I don't know if I expected a lot of hard stuff. Like, even with the pregnancy, I think I expected, like, am I going to be throwing up all the time?
Yeah,
am
give us the tea.
Yeah, I was expecting.
Because I'm nervous. I'm terrified, horrified.
I was looking for all these crazy symptoms that I think that maybe people do feel, but I didn't really feel like
That's
that.
a blessing.
I didn't. I was like, I really did feel like myself. Now, afterwards, I think the whole postpartum thing, it made me feel a lot of different things. I definitely felt like, oh my gosh, I lost my old life. So there was a lot of a mourning. You know, I went from a twosome scenario to a threesome scenario, and it was like, oh my gosh, how do I balance that? That was tough and difficult. But then at a certain point, it gave me some kind of empowerment where I felt, well, if this is my new life, if this is my new body, I'm going to enjoy it. And then I just leaned in, and then I felt this sense of confidence that I never felt before. Because I think that's what happens with postpartum.
We see it.
Thank you so much. Because
that's
what happens when you have a baby. I think it's like you end up. I was talking about this with my trainer, Corey Kaye. Like, you want to be who you used to be, but the moment that you accept that you're never going to be that person again and embrace the new person that you're going to become, everything just works out.
Yeah.
It becomes, you just become so much more powerful and empowered, I think.
Well, motherhood looks good on you, honey.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Like,
Lily.
are you feeling the love?
Hey,
Because
y'all.
I feel like it's been so many instances. Because, first of all, you always look good. We've always been fans. But I feel like the world is sort of like, Keke, oh, it's giving sexy. It's giving.
Child, it's getting better with age, and I'm here for it.
No, but
I'm
really.
absolutely here for it.
Just like wine.
Honey, I'm trying to age like that
time.
wine, honey. Like, legitimate. It's giving you 1993.
Period.
Super first class, okay? But yeah, I feel the love. I do feel the love, and I feel like, you know, again, it's growth and evolution. I think it's definitely my baby.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely my support system. And I think it's my age, you know what I mean? I'm growing. And I think I always had fun and did my own little thing, especially in my early 20 years when I was giving you that paparazzi era.
Period.
I was going through
We
the town
remember.
streets. Like, y'all remember that with the red braids? I was eating it up with them red braids. But it's like, that was early 20s.
Yes.
Now it's like, I'm giving you a similar moment, but it's different because I'm about to be 30.
It's
so
giving. I'm a grown ass woman.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm grown. I'm a grown ass.
I can't even believe it myself when I look at the mirror. I'm like, bitch, it's you. Excuse me. I don't mean to curse.
It's okay. Is it really giving what it's supposed to have gave?
You know what I mean?
What's the biggest lesson that you've learned in motherhood?
The biggest lesson that I've learned
About
in motherhood.
yourself.
You know, I think that for me, I'm a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to get to the place that I think when I talk about this big boss era, that's also what it's about as well. And I talk about this in the movie where it's like, who am I outside of my career? What is my purpose? You know, how do I feel valid? Outside of being Keke Palmer, the entertainer, something I've been doing all my life. I've been doing it. I've been performing more than I have not. It's gotten to that point for me with my career. I was, not performing for 9 years, and now I've been performing at this point for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so I think for me with my child and really, seeing that I have this beautiful person in my life that loves me unconditionally, it's kind of allowed me to also see that I deserve that other aspect of my life much more. And so putting that time in to take that personal time and to know that I'm important to somebody outside of being a performer is huge.
Yeah.
Because most people in my life now at this point know me solely as a performer. Like, I don't know many people that don't that didn't know me before then.
Right.
And I remember when I had my son, I was like, I get to be a real person again. Like he don't care about me being Keke. He just cares about me being his mom, you know? So it's very special.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, so we seen you perform since like 10. You'll be 30 next month.
Yeah.
And we see like a lot of kid actors go crazy, go down that weird path. What do you think kept you on the straight and narrow, didn't allow you to,
that
go down there?
foundation of faith.
some people definitely, I had moments, I think it's so important to say this because I think, again, success is not linear, and like your journey as a person, everybody's not always going to agree with you. And I think it's important to say that so that people aren't surprised and thinking, especially young women that are looking up to me or like, relate to me. People haven't always loved me. I've had moments as I've grown and as I've evolved where people were like, what's happening with her? She's looking crazy. It's not that it didn't happen. I just kind of kept moving and knowing who I was. And I do think as a child entertainer that a lot of people assume that you are going crazy when you're just doing the normal things that anybody growing up does. So I think we don't give child entertainers sometimes the same grace that we would give Lil TT that we know going, oh, Lil TT, well, she in college now, girl. She thinks she grown.
She had all those piercings.
You get what I mean? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But I think when you're a child star and you've built a brand or an identity and you're this kind of young professional, people don't expect you to have the same kind of normal evolutions that everybody goes through. So I went through them. I definitely didn't always have the easiest time on social media and stuff like everybody, but I just kept going and staying focused on what I loved and now I'm here.
Yeah. Now in your feature film, Big Boss Era, you talk a little bit about, of course, it's the story of your life.
Yeah.
And I know that process of just creating something like that about yourself and then starring in it and directing in it was probably, a unique experience. But what was it like just going back to those days and like figuring out how you can make it come to life on film for us as the audience? Because I truly felt like I got to know way more about you than I did before.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really did not plan to write that. I was just trying to, sit down and figure out what I wanted to make this. We had did the album, and my manager was like, lean into your acting because I feel like you always, and it's true, I always would try to move away from my acting when it came to music because that's what people pressured me to do when I was in the label system. And he was like, I think that's what makes you you, and you shouldn't run away from that. And so I sat down, and I was like, let me figure out what I want to talk about. And then that is what came to me. And I think it was simply like, in the music industry, and I think in life in general, sometimes you're in survival mode. You're so much in survival mode that you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And I think it was very therapeutic, and it became just kind of like a purging of all of the hardships that I went through the industry that ultimately led me to the big boss that I am. You know what I mean? When seriously, because it was a lot of that. That didn't. You don't get anywhere in life by everything being easy. That's just not the. You have to have trials and tribulations. That's, instead of us being afraid of them, it's like we got to go through them because that's what's going to get us to the other side. And it was always for me to be independent. It was always for me to be a big boss. I was always going to be that person.
Say that.
But I had to go through a lot of different things. And so some of those themes are like misogyny, imposter syndrome, being a workaholic and not knowing when it's time to take a step back and like be objective about myself and what I want to create. So there's a lot of those things that we cover in the project that I didn't even know that I had to say. And I think that's just, again, universal timing and God, that you end up right where you're supposed to be at the right time.
Yeah, it came across beautifully. And one thing that you talked about, the music industry versus the acting world, you say, sometimes I wish, the music game could be more like the acting world. Yeah. What did you mean by that?
Well, the acting world, even when we're talking about unions and stuff like that, right? Like, it's like this, like the difference between working for a company that has a union and one that doesn't. Because I'm sure, obviously you have ASCAP and different things like that with music, but artists aren't truly protected in the music industry. There's not like somebody you could call. There's not something that you can do in order to keep things in balance.
Yeah.
With acting, you got a union. People are going on strike. People are having to pay for things. There's somebody's going to come and get your behind.
Yeah.
It's just not that way with the music industry, and so a lot of people get away with a lot of stuff. And I think it just it's not that there isn't misogyny in the acting industry. Obviously there is. We had the Me Too movement. There's tons of things that are going wrong. But it's gonna catch up to you much quicker I think, than it is with music. There's just a lot. That's the way that system works. Is just not. It's not really like a professional system. It's kind of like getting where you can fit in. Wild Wild West.
A free for all.
It's a free for all. Yeah, it's crazy.
When are you going to do stand up?
Oh my God! You know what? It's getting to the point where it's starting to become it's starting to come everywhere in my mind.
See,
I literally did. So I did this movie with Aziz Ansari. It ended up getting cut short. Me and Aziz, we tried to do 2 movies together. They done got one from the strike and one because of something that happened that we ain't had nothing to do with.
Okay.
And so I was with him, and he was like, Keke, you gotta do stand up. You gotta, come on with me. I'm like, Aziz, are you serious? Like, yeah, you're funny. And so
you're definitely funny.
So I was like, okay, cool. So he took me literally 3 nights. We went and did it was like Laugh Factory and a bunch of different places. I went right before him. I did like 5 minutes real quick of stand up. And I was like, okay, I think I could do this. And after I did SNL, and I did my monologue, which is essentially a stand up routine. I was like, yo, this is for me. So I'm really trying to, especially now, in the traditional sense, I got a lot of time on my hands. You
gotta give us something to watch, girl.
I gotta do something, exactly. So I'm very excited to start figuring that out. But I would love to do that. I mean, I just think, I like making people laugh. It really brings me joy.
And I know you also like reality TV.
Oh my gosh, I live for reality TV.
What's your favorite?
Your favorite franchise?
Potomac, without a doubt.
What?
Potomac.
I told you, honey, yes, Potomac.
More than Atlanta?
Sweetie, Atlanta ain't had us in the chokehold since
but the
2010.
old Atlanta.
Okay, tell them, Keke. Because we argue about this all the time.
They need to get Phaedra back. I'm ready for some
They
tea.
need Nene.
Potomac.
They need Phaedra. They need Portia. And I would be even okay. Nene, I would love for Nene to come back, but I need old Nene back.
Yeah.
I need old Nene back. She gives me very bougie. I need the hood with
The
it.
one line.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Give me that back. But I live for Nene. But yeah, I did Broadway with Nene, which is so insane. We did Cinderella together.
Yeah.
So shout outs to her. But yeah, I Potomac, Miss Karen Huger, Miss Candace, the Grand Dame, the Green-Eyed Bandits. I mean, come on. It's very much so given. Potomac has eaten all of the Real Housewives franchises up for me.
It got the Real Housewives franchise on its back.
Have got to watch it.
Potomac is
I'm going to get Monique back. After what's going on with her and husband, I
yeah.
hope everything goes good, Miss Lady. I'm sending you all the loves and the prayers.
But if it don't, put it on TV.
But the tea would be fabulous. Okay?
Absolutely.
It's eating. Yes, I love that. I used to love the Love Islands and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to be honest with y'all, and this is something that I want to figure out for Key TV. I'm tired of all the dating shows not having enough black girls on there and black folks in general.
Or
and then it's like
men.
when they do, it's like, this is the thing. I don't care about interracial anything, but it's like
you can tell
if you're gonna have some black girls on the show, at least have somebody that's interested in them.
Yeah.
Give them. You should be figuring out when you hire these people on the show. One of the questions should be, do you like black girls? I need somebody that wants
something
seriously because the black girls be on there and they be gorgeous. But the people aren't interested. It's like, that's fine, but have somebody that's their type.
Right. Because
you have them up there and it's not nice for them to just sit up there and not get chosen. That really irks me. Because they're gorgeous. And it's like, they the only last ones standing. Really?
Well, listen,
I'm not with that.
I know that your circle is your circle. If you can put together some single fine black women and some single fine black men, call me.
Okay.
Call me. Okay. Seriously.
Okay, mama. We might even call you. You come out there and host.
Listen, no, seriously. I actually have a reality dating show coming out pretty soon.
Where is it going?
Next month.
So where's
on
it
MTV.
Going on? Girl,
yes.
This is huge.
I'm not on it, but I'm voicing it. So this is why it's like, this is so funny.
Is this black folks?
It's black people.
I'm so glad because we need a dating one because it's like we don't get a lot of that. I feel the same way about Survivor. We don't never have enough of us on shows like that.
Because we ain't going out there in the woods and all that stuff. That's not happening.
You know how good that would be though if it was a Survivor with more of a diverse thing. I mean, I would be just so happy, guys.
Think of a Survivor with all black people.
The folks be goating them out so fast. You get one black person and be like, we're funding them home. I'm like, dang, really? Give them a chance.
Listen, because they know they're going to beat them out.
Oh, come on.
Because we got it in us.
Okay.
It ain't what's on us.
I cannot sit here and look at you without thinking about that daggone Angela Bassett impersonation you did.
It's so funny how that Angela Bassett impression has gone because when I was a kid, when I was about 16, I used to every time I did a movie with Queen Latifah, she'd be like, do Angela. And it's like now the world is always like, do Angela. But back in the day,
please?
Queen used to have me do that all the time. She'd be like, do Angela. And she used to love when I would do that.
Can you give us 3 seconds?
Sure. Okay, let me see. Which one do I want to do?
You a lie.
You a lie. And you a cheat. And I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it's too much.
Thank you so much, Keke.
No, thank you guys. This is a lot of fun. This
Yes.
is worth the early morning get up.
See?
Good.
And you've been made a lot of memes and everything from over the years. Do you have your favorite of anybody else's?
Oh my gosh. We did a job.
Wait.
You're president of the United States of America. Because why would she do that?
Yeah.
Right. We did a job. President of the United States of America. I just live for that so much.
Did you do that when she was on your podcast?
Yes, I did. You know, the kids were killing me on my day. Like, Keke, why would you do that to her face? I'm like, we did a job. I just love it so much. It's so ridiculous. And that's my problem. I stay overdoing stuff, and I don't even know how to stop.
No,
like,
extra read all
somebody
about
said,
it.
girl, you just drag queen everything out. And I'm like, and did.
And
will.
And what about it? Okay.
It's better that way.
I love it. Okay. Whenever somebody says you're extra, just be like, extra, read all about it.
Period.
Because I'm going to give it to you.
Yes.
You got to do the most.
Newspaper.
Because these hoes don't do enough.
Okay. Because I'll finish it.
That's what Cardi
Before you
said.
They're on here laughing.
Are they laughing? We out here cutting up, y'all.
We're cutting up.
Yes.
Keke
Thank you,
Palmer,
love.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This was so much fun.
Come back again.
Period.
Yes.